So we're here in One Run HQ. We have got runners in Armenia, Oman, Azerbaijan, Reunion, the United Arab Emirates. They're all currently running, very, very excited. And even more excited to have the wonderful Dave Hellard to be interviewing him. Dave Hellard is the man behind BadBoy Running. He has led the London Marathon on one occasion, and maybe we'll touch on that a little bit. But more than that, you're a good friend and confidant when it comes to running. And
how many times do you want me to be leading the London Marathon? Like, how many will make you happy, Danny?
I mean, just one more day. That's all I ask for. Tell us about that day. Let's dive straight into that, because that really sums up who you are as a human being.
Yeah, I guess it does. Well, I like to raise money for a charity called Street Child, and I was racing the Sierra Leone Marathon with them in 2013. And as well, I mean, you've always bust your targets, but as a lot of people out there know, these days it's quite hard to get people to donate just because you're running a marathon, even if it is in Sierra Leone, just because everyone's doing so many epic things kind of all around you, and people are just fatigued from raising money. So I put together a list of 6 different challenges that I had to complete, with the idea of them all building up to Sierra Leone, but also it meant it gave me an excuse to actually email everyone and contact everyone repeatedly saying donate. And one of them was to lead the marathon for 400 meters. So I was in the pen. I was in the elite pen, or the good for age. No, I can't remember what it's called now, but the elite pen essentially, but just behind the Mo Farahs and the Kipchogis of this world. And when the gun went off, I just had to dive to the right and then absolutely leg it. So really fun.
Was it the fastest 400 meters of your life?
I think it probably was. I started my watch as I crossed the line, and I had quite a few meters trying to run round people before I started going, and I hit a 400 in, I think it was 65 seconds. So given the delay on actually getting going, I don't think I've run that fast before. I don't know if I've even done 400 more than once anyway, but
yeah, it's super big. And I believe there's some amazing pictures, aren't there, of the elites looking over at this white-haired guy flying past them, a ridiculous, I mean, I won't say flying past them because they're probably flying as well, but slowly getting past them, and they're all looking over at you.
But that's what's amazing about, because there's a side-on video that a random person captured, and if you look at me, I'm really, you can see that I'm sprinting, and the contrast between my body language and their body language, where they're all just floating. They don't look like they're making any effort at all. And it just shows you just the huge difference between a proper runner and someone who just, brutals their way through.
Yeah, well, let's say you were in the elite pen, Dave, so you're still pretty decent yourself. But that shows the difference between someone who's very, very good and then the people who are those elite people. It's amazing. But let's go back to this fundraising side of things. You were just kind of touching upon it. Obviously, we're raising money for 5 amazing charities, and it is just incredible how the running community will kind of come together. And there's the whole thing about uniting the world and being together and finishing this slightly off year together in a more positive way. And I wonder whether you could shed some light. I wonder what it is about running that means we all do come together when it comes to things like this. I think it happens much more in running than in any other walk of life that we all
it's true. You don't see many charity games where people are going, can you pay me, can you help donate $2,000 for children in need because I'm playing football? Yeah, you're right. I think it's partly because the effect of things like the London Marathon, the Boston Marathon, where there is an expectation of raising money attached to races like that, but also because running is one of those events where you can just do more and more and more, and also it's tangible, the difference between 1 mile and 50 miles. And for anyone who's only run a mile a few times, they know that's hard. So then when you hear 50 miles, it just triggers something of that's impressive. But maybe it's also because we're all running by ourselves a lot of the time, and it's kind of a lonesome experience, even though there's a huge community around it. And so the ability to then come together and support each other, and also that mutual respect thing. I think no matter how good a runner you are, you respect when someone's done a certain distance, because there's no easy way of doing it. But how's the charity raising going today, and with the runners who are out there currently?
Yeah, we've got a kind of bar on our website, which is onerun.global, and that's just kind of pinging the whole time. There's lots of donations coming in. It's slowly going up. It's not a huge grandiose amount, but we're hoping it's going to be in the range between 50 and 100,000 pounds raised for the charity. So not a small amount, but it is a virtual run. That's just something we've had to deal with, and it's hard times. Like COVID has been hard in so many different ways, not just pushing us apart, but also on our businesses, our finances, mental health, all of them.
Yeah, and actually this event is amazing in what it's doing in making people feel connected. But the secret to, as we know, to really raising lots of money is to have a truly personal connection with the person giving, and for you to be doing something that they feel is really giving your all. And this is an incredible event for what it achieves in us all connected, but it doesn't necessarily have as many of those individual stories, which is, I guess, the key to really raising a lot of money.
Yeah, and then the beauty, I think that those individual stories are slowly coming out throughout the day. Actually, like people are posting their videos and their pictures, and so that, I mean, there's some incredible incredible
What's it
stories.
like for you? Because in all of the other things you've done, say the London relay, you knew 40% of the people who were doing it anyway. Whereas now, I'm sure your first 5 hours of the day, in places that you've never been anywhere near, you're suddenly getting all these faces of people and these stories. And like, is it people who you expected?
I mean, we didn't really know what to, because I think it's one of those grandiose plans where you think, oh, we'll try and create a global event and we'll get someone from every country in the world. And you kind of, there's 50% of you is thinking, well, we're never ever going to do that. That's completely impossible. And the other part is like, well, we're going to do it anyway. So, so I think there's an element of both of those, really. There was something of the things I've done in the past give me faith that when you get a certain amount of people on board, this running community comes together and it works together to make the other half happen. And the other thing is just it's a bit like any sort of, even just going out on a run, it's kind of, well, I'm going to give it a go and we'll see what happens. And generally, we do that with running, and we get to the finish line, we may be in a bit of pain or whatever, and tired out and exhausted, and that's kind of what we set out. That's how we feel right now, actually, coming much closer to the finish line.
So you're staying up the whole time?
Yeah, we're staying up 24 hours, and we're speaking to people the whole time, interviewing them on
But it's not 24 hours, because it doesn't start when you want to start. Like you didn't wake up 10 minutes before this started, and you'll probably go to bed 10 minutes after it finishes, but you've still got the whole day in preparation, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's been these last few weeks of feeling pretty exhausted and and working really hard, waking up in the night and just thinking, oh, got to write that down so we make sure we do it tomorrow. And that's that's tiring after a while.
And in 2 weeks' time, if we go to a pub quiz and you have to name every country in the world, how many do you reckon you're going to hit? How many are you remembering?
I'm gonna be a lot better, getting close to 195. It's because we've been striving to get the harder ones that you don't know. So yeah, great pub quiz knowledge though. I like that. It's probably gonna be my one topic that I can actually achieve on.
Yeah, especially because I feel I'm quite well travelled, or my geography's not too bad, but actually it keeps on changing. And South Sudan's been brought in. Timor, I didn't know Timor now had a new name, and that's what's so interesting about the world. And this is why it's so important that we all stay together, because there are countries being torn apart, and still conflict.
Yeah. Well, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, Dave, going for a run, where would it be?
Oh, I just want to be going for a run. Bloody injury, bloody. But oh, anywhere on earth. Probably my favourite run I've done was on a stag do. I ran up a place in Lake Garda and very hungover, but by the top I felt great. And then I had a 6 mile run down this I guess a mountain. And it's the first time I've really unleashed down a hill for so long. And there was a mountain bike track going down it, and it was great because the mountain bikers couldn't keep up because the turns. And I've never felt such exhilaration of that. It ruined my legs for about 3 weeks, which destroyed the rest of my season. But oh wow, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's worth destroying your season for again, just to give it one more go.
Yeah, well, hopefully one day we'll get out there together and do it, because it's
Yeah.
or something similar, when everything's back to normal. But
That'd be dreamy. And Dave, as someone who's led the London Marathon, someone who, you're a pretty nifty runner. What advice would you give those people who are still waiting to run? People who are tying their shoelaces right now, those people that are kind of thinking in their head about that, stepping out in a rainy English evening, or it's a roasting hot day and wherever they are. What would you give? What advice would you give them?
well, I think just embrace it. This is their moment, and it's going to be strange because everyone's by themselves. But remind yourself that you're genuinely connected to every country on earth in this endeavor, and don't let anything stop you from running the run you want to run. I mean, go through traffic, tear through shopping centers, whatever it takes. Just do whatever you want to do to give you the most fun experience, because actually running is so joyful. And as long as you can do it in the way you want to do it, then it gives you so much back. So yeah, I'm so jealous, still injured, but enjoy it, everyone.
Yeah, Dave, you're a blooming legend. I love that. Anything else I want to do? What's going on with BadBoy running right now? Anything?
Quite a lot, really. We've won an award. We've won the Running Show Awards, which is really super cool. And we've just had loads of really cool guests. We've been trying to take on kind of Black Lives Matter in our own style. And so we've gone out and we've just found some amazing guests. So we've had the fastest blind sprint in the world. Wyoming Tyus is coming on, who no one knows this fact. It's just something we're trying to change. She's the first person to win back-to-back golds in the 100 meters at the Olympics. And very few people are aware of that fact, partly because she's black, partly because she's female, partly because it was in the 60s. But, her legacy is there and needs to be cemented. So we've got to a size now that's allowed us to truly get everyone we want to talk to, and there's so many exciting people out in the world. So it's just great to actually chat to whoever you want to and ask them the questions you've always dreamt of asking them.
Wow. Yeah, love that. I mean, I even feel that with this, there's so many people you want to have a conversation with. That actually makes me want to travel all around the world chatting to all our runners. But
and how have you got so many people like Chris Robshaw, and you seem to have people from all different walks of life and different sports as well.
Yeah, I think part of some like Chris Robshaw just signed up to the London Relay without telling anyone, turned up, ran, and left. And then I just saw his story after he'd gone home, and it's like, oh my goodness! And I asked him whether he would support this, and he said yeah. So that's super mega. I hope we get a video of him running.
And do you get a sense of, from continent to continent, are how people approaching this and who's involved and how people perceive this? Is it dramatically different?
I think it's pretty similar the world over. People are taking part to take part in something bigger than themselves, really. And that could be, I don't think there's going to be too many people who are going at a really, really rapid pace. It's much more, it's about, stepping out of your front door, looking up, seeing the scenery around you, smiling at the people you go past, and feeling like feeling like you're part of something in a year where you've spent a lot of time locked in your own room with Zoom meetings and stuff like this. So yeah, which is what we're doing now.
And which countries do you think have got the most unusual runners, or having to go to the biggest lengths to actually do this run?
Well, we had Equatorial Guinea.
Mm.
We had no runners until the the day before, penultimate night, and now I think we have something along the lines of definitely very close to 20, maybe over 20 runners. It's simply, as soon as one runner there knows about it, they tell everyone. That's how it's worked with most countries. And I think the Solomon Islands, it was equally that same night, and we were really struggling, really worried about those. And then now I think we've got 17 of those as well. So it's
Wow.
yeah. It's just finding a runner is the tough thing, and then once you do that, it's easy.
Just planting that seed.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
quite a metaphor for life.
Yeah, exactly. Plant a seed and watch it grow. I mean, that's exactly what we do with this. Really, it's not thanks. I mean, we have worked hard, but it's not just down to us three in this little room. It's down to the running community reaching out and being awesome and making this happen. Really.
And do you think this is something that you're going to look to repeat once we're out of lockdown, or is this something potentially rolling into a world relay, or?
Bit of both. Yeah, I think we'll do it again next year, and I think after that will roll into the world. Yeah,
amazing.
Dave, I'm gonna have to say goodbye, mate. I'll see you hopefully before Christmas.
Yeah.
Give my love to Claire.
Yeah, and if not, we've got to. Well, we probably won't see you before. Oh no, yeah. Hopefully, we'll see you before Christmas.
Yeah,
we'll sort that.
Okay.
Cheers, Daddy. Have a good
See you,
evening.
mate. See you, Dave. Bye.